On Hello and welcome to our Advent story time. Christmas is a truly magical time. It's a time when we put aside our differences and come together to recognise that everyone is loved by God. There's a true story of a war when the British soldiers in trenches on a battlefront heard their enemy soldiers singing the carol, Silent Night. They echoed it in their own language, and then on Christmas Day they stopped fighting and played football. Can you imagine that? Christmas changed the way they felt and they saw each other in a different light. Today, Benjamin opens his Advent door to discover wolves. Let's see what that was all about, shall we? On December the 19th, Benjamin Bear opened the next door and uncovered wolves. It was night time and very quiet. The little bear and the lamb saw a campfire in the distance. As they approached, they saw shepherds sitting around the fire warming themselves. In the distance, they heard the howling of wolves. The shepherds shivered with fear. "What are you doing here on such a cold night?" asked one of the shepherds. "We're following the star," replied the little bear. "What for?" asked the shepherds with a laugh. But then the shepherds suddenly saw their sheep stand up and stare at the heavens. A great light spread across the sky. "There's the star," whispered the little bear. As if led by an invisible shepherd, the sheep set out on the path. The wolves moved with them and did not harm them, and filled with wonder, the lamb, the little bear and the shepherds hurried behind them all. "How amazing," said Benjamin. "The wolves didn't harm them." "Yes," said Mother Bear. "God's love can turn enemies into friends." So we're going to go through our Advent calendar window ourselves now and see what the character is that's lying in wait for us on the other side. I love that our nativity scene is building up and building up and building up, that we're getting more and more people as each day goes by. And that's kind of what our life is like, isn't it? That sense that we meet new people all the time and that we should embrace the gifts that they bring to us and the wonderful things that we find in their cultures and in their lives and their experiences. We'll have a look and see who our next character is. It's a lady and she's got a steaming coffee pot on there, I think. I am not a big fan of coffee, but my daughter loves it. It piques her up and gives her a real energy buzz. I find it gives me a headache. But this lady's obviously thought maybe, again, Joseph and Mary maybe need a bit of a perk up. Certainly Mary if she's just given birth to a baby. But this lady is giving again what she can to Jesus, just as we're supposed to. So we'll pop her in. Everyone's prepared, everyone's ready, the excitement is building. They know that a baby is about to arrive, just as we do. So tomorrow we're going to find out our next character. Come back then and see me then. Tonight we return to the gnomes in the wood to see how they're getting on. They still haven't got a little brother or sister, but they do make some new friends in today's story. So let's go and learn all about the star tree. When Willa and Willie woke up the next evening in Grandfather Moses' cave, There were no stars and no moon to be seen in the sky. A heavy blanket of clouds had hidden them from view. It's warmer, and it'll soon start snowing again, said Moses. Do you want to have Brexlow outside or inside? Definitely outside, by the fireplace, the children shouted together. Right, then would you please take the Brexlow things to my life tree? Moses laughed. But get dressed first. In the meantime, I'll see to the fire, because tonight we're going to have some more visitors. Willa and Willie washed themselves in the kitchen, where Grandfather Moses had warmed some water for them. Then they put on all their clothes they needed for a cold winter's night out in the open. Long underpants and vests and socks that Mama Mona had knit for them out of fine goat's hair, and padded coats and thick felt boots and gloves, and to top it all off, pointed hats that they'd been given just after they were born and that had grown at the same rate as them. Gnomes only take them off when they go to bed. Then they carried Moses's Brexlow basket out to the fireplace. Even from a distance they could hear voices, the deep rumbling bass of Grandfather Moses and a lighter female voice. Mama? No. Nim nam nommy, said an old gnome lady as she took a basket from the children. I'm Sina, Sino's twin sister. I live on the other side of the river, but I've heard that you tell lovely stories here, so I wanted to come and tell you one of my own. Nim nam nommy, Sina, said Willa. It's nice that you... Oh no, help! Willa screamed and ducked down low in the snow. A large grey shadow flew over her, and it came so close that her gnome's hat wobbled. "Oh-hoo! I'm ever so sorry," said the owlet when she landed. "I didn't want to knock you-hoo over." Grandfather Moses helped the trembling Willa to her feet, held her in his arms and pointed to the owlet. "Allow me to introduce you. This is our neighbour Elsa. She lives above us, and for days now she's been listening in to all our stories, so I invited her to come and sit by the fire with us." "Nim nam nommy," said Willa and Willie pointedly, and as so often together. Then they all made themselves comfortable around the steaming pot of wishing punch. Grandfather Moses had laid out some felt cushions, which were so thick and plump that nobody would get a cold bottom from sitting on the ground. Willie sat next to Elsa and gazed at her, eyes shining with excitement. Only a few days ago he had wished for a fox or owl to be his friend, and now there sat an owl right by his side. Would he perhaps be able to go flying with her one day? Sina blew gently into her cup of hot wishing punch. The steam rose in delicate white threads and wound its way through the branches of the tree. "Your oak has grown into a big strong tree," she said to Moses. "Yes, just as big and strong as me," said Moses. "Unfortunately, it's also exactly the same age as me, more than 400 years old." "Well, my beech tree is 380, said Sina, "but it's still got everything that matters. And what life trees have been planted for you two children." "I've also got an oak just like Grandfather's," said Willie proudly. And Willa said, "I've got a lime tree. And if one of our new gnome babies is a girl, we're going to plant a lime tree for her too. Oh, I hope Mama Mona is all right. I'm going to wish right now for her to have something nice." "But you won't be able to see a new star today," said Willie. "No problem," old Sina laughed. "My present to you is meant for just such situations." And with an air of mystery she dipped into her bag and pulled out a handful of yellow paper stars. "Wishing stars," cried Moses in surprise and delight. "I never thought of those." "But I did," Sina said, laughing, and handed one of the dainty stars to everyone in the circle. "When Moses and I were children, we made these stars every winter to give to our friends, and also for ourselves. We used to write our heart's desires down on them and hang them on threads in the trees so that heaven would know what we wanted." "Yes, and in summer we also gave out wishing hearts," recalled Grandfather Moses, winking at Sina. "But I don't know how to write yet," said Willa sadly. Sina took out a charcoal pencil. "It doesn't matter," she said. "You can also draw something, or simply close your eyes and put an invisible wish on the star." "That's really cool," said Willie. "And how can we get the stars up into the trees?" "Just hang on to climb up on my back," said Elsa, "and hold tight." "Yes, yes, yes, oh yes," cried Willie, and threw his arms around Elsa's neck in sheer delight. He waited impatiently until his sister had finished drawing 2 funny little gnome baby faces on her star, and then he did the same. After that, he happily climbed up onto Elsa's back and flew high into the tree tops with the wishing stars, as if he'd been doing it all his gnomish life. So, Willie's wish came true, and he got his owl friend, which is lovely to see. Friendships are really important, and also that we are good friends to those around us as well. As we draw closer to Christmas, as we remember the message of love that we find there, let's try and include everyone in our joy and happiness, and make sure that no one is left out. Sleep tight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.